Good morning, everyone, and welcome to today's Friday morning update, which is, of course, a special update because it's not Friday, it's Wednesday. But still, that's the title that this series have gotten this year. These are the updates that I do every week on Friday mornings, but this week I'm doing it on Wednesday. And it's a special stream because it's also public today, and I have the camera on, which I usually don't. So welcome everyone. Thanks for tuning in. Just let me know. I'm just gonna check. Stream quality looks good. Everything looks good on my end. Just let me know if you can hear me okay. We'll just do a little sound check. Oh wow, a lot of people already tuning in. Guten Morgen. Good morning everyone. From Kenya. Wow, good morning. Good morning, good morning. What a Friday. What a Friday on Wednesday, right? Sound is good? Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. Lithuania. I am golden. Yeah, I think the lights are a bit weird here. I think if I get closer to the camera, I'm not that golden. More normal skin color, so the lighting is a bit weird maybe. Very yellow. Yeah, I'm from The Simpsons. All right, thanks guys for the sound check. Yeah, I think the color gets more normal if I'm close to the camera. See? Even if I go far away, it's turns yellow again. I don't know. It's weird. Anyway, let's get to the chart. So here we are. I always start the update like this so that we remind ourselves of where we are and what has happened in the past few months and not just now. And let me see, put this over here. You can see that this is the Bybit chart, of course, so it has a shorter price history. And if, as we have been covering in the past few weeks, we know that we have this major monthly level up there, the only one that we have, and that has proven to be the big massive resistance on the chart. Yeah, and it continues to be the same. It's still this massive resistance to beat on the chart. And of course, if we look back a little bit, well, let me change this to the Coinbase chart, then we see that we have an old monthly level. Of course, from December 17-18, that was back tested on 2 years later in the summer of 19, and we broke through, in November of last year. So ever since then, we have not created another monthly level, which is kind of crazy. And if you look at the Bybit chart, of course, that monthly level is missing, the 13K one, but the next untapped one you would say is like down here at 10K, which is kind of crazy, right? So this is just to, give us an overview of where or how extreme this move has been until now, which is really, really crazy. But there it is. That's where we are. I'm going to remove them from the chart though, because it doesn't really help us for our local analysis. It's just to kind of remind ourselves of where we are. Now switching down to the weekly time frame, we can already see that we have a bit more structure to work with. Once again, we've got our upper weekly resistances, the last one being like 60K. The next one, 58K, is almost like the monthly. And to the downside, we have our weekly levels that we've had already for a while. I'll just redraw them here. This is, even though it's an old weekly level, and it has already been traded through once, this is still, for now, holding a support. That's our big 32K area. And if you look at this old weekly level here, it's quite relevant because it used to be our January area range, basically. And as you can see here, back in February, so we spent the whole month in here, after breaking into this area, or this range, this big range, we closed the weekly level above, or a weekly candle, sorry, above this weekly level, and back tested it perfectly on the following week, and then took off to the upper range. You could call this then our upper range and our support range as it stands right now. If we go to the daily chart, we can see it in a bit more detail that we spent quite a bit of time in January failing to push higher, retracing all the way back to support, and then just kind of bouncing around in here. You can view these also as an area. You don't have to be, I know they're sometimes back tested perfectly, but try to view them more as an area of interest for expecting ranging. So if you're treating this like a range, then these are the areas at the top where you look for shorts, and these are the areas at the bottom where you look for longs. Instead of longing into resistance expecting a breakout, you don't expect a breakout, and you can continue to range as long as you want. And on the last trade, you'll be wrong, but in between, all the trades that you take will be correct. So that's the way we approach that. And why am I looking at this old stuff when we're all the way over here? Well, as you can see, we have revisited this area. We have not spent that much time in it, have to admit. We had the big massive drop from the 58K massive resistance level. I mean, that is ridiculous how much resistance that level was. And we've dropped our, we've had our 50% drop that everyone's of course aware of, and has followed the past couple of weeks. And here we are again. Yeah, we did spend some time in here, a few days, but we're already fighting against this resistance area here. Yeah, so it was former resistance, and it continues to be resistance again. I'm just going to turn these off for a second, and let's zoom in a little bit to where we are right now. As you can see, we already have just now, oh, and London opened 9 a.m. That's fantastic. So let's see if we get any interesting moves. So you can see right here that we already have a fresh daily level that was created from the 20th of May to the 21st as resistance, and it has just been tapped, like just now. And that's where we're rejecting off right now. That doesn't mean we're going to have a humongous rejection. That's not what you have to assume right away. I mean, there's other data that you can look at to see if that's going to be the case or not, but it's definitely one of those levels that you can pay attention to, because you have to consider that if you manage to catch along from the support area, yeah, or 32K, where is it? This one. So if you've managed to catch along from the low of this local range that once again we seem to be in, yeah, so very similar to the January range. We can actually compare it with the January range here. I'll just show you. That's the January high right there, and those are the weekly levels. Yeah, so we're kind of in a very similar place. We can actually put that high. I'm just going to leave it on because it's kind of interesting too. And so we have our daily resistance here to deal with, a fresh daily resistance, but fresh and not fresh, because look at this. Back then in January, between the 8th and 9th, we also had this daily level. Yeah, so we're revisiting an old daily level and remade fresh right there. Yeah, so this is an old resistance being confirmed as new resistance and actual resistance as well. So in this case, we have a very, very nice advantage of being able to look at such a similar range and approach our trading the same way. So these are rough levels to get an idea of where we're at. And even though it looks like this move might not be so much compared to what's happened before, you have to keep in mind what percentages we're actually moving here. Yeah, if just from the lower weekly to this daily level, that's 25%. That's an insane move. I know crypto is very volatile, of course, and that's why we like it so much. But this is a very, 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 very insane move. It's a very powerful move. So if I'm personally long from the bottom, this is one of the areas where I'm taking profits. So if you're wondering, oh, should I long now? Oh, should I short now? Well, just know that most probably, well, what I know what other people are doing, but most probably the people who are long from the bottom are using this as a take profit level. So they're actually stepping out of the market and locking in profits, expecting not a breakout, but perhaps just a rotation to the lows again. Why not? Is it so crazy to expect a range? Is this the top of the range, or is this exactly the top of the range? Those are the things that we can, of course, look at more in detail. Let me just turn this off for a second and see what I had here on the, so I prepare a little folder. Let's just break it down a little bit, or turn it on bit by bit so it doesn't sound so confusing. So we have our, let's say, absolute high of this entire area we could view as the January high. Yeah, look at what a happy coincidence that is. So the high here in January was shortly, very shortly support during the drop, has already been resistance twice on 2 separate days. And this could be, you know, a third attempt if we manage to get up there. So we could argue, okay, the more you bang against a level or an area, the less strong or the weaker it gets. Yeah. So the third time, 1, 2 attempts, maybe the third time would be the one. We'll see. No need to jump to conclusions. So I'm going to leave that on for now. And then let's just put on our fresh daily level. That's what I've called it. And we are rejecting from it. Not a surprise. Then we had our little lower daily level here, and the reason I put that one on is because it lined up with the old fib retracement that I had on. This is of course assuming that that was the local high and that we could retrace to it. Now that is not the case anymore. We need to move it up a little bit. So let's just assume for fun that this was then the local high for now, that we're reaching the top of the range. This could be a very nice confluence to look for a re-entry. We're approaching the bottom of the range. We know our weekly level is down here, our 32K support area. We've got the CC, we've got the 786. And let's see what I got here as well. Okay, and from the other side, so if you pull the fib from up here, from our local high to the next significant low or lowest low, then we have the CC and the 786 also as kind of a resistance area right here. We've kind of traded through them, so yeah, this one maybe not so tasty anymore, but that's where we are. And then we can turn on the volume tool, and what I've done is, well, I can actually show you and just do it again with a fixed range tool. I want to include everything that's under the 42K area. You could also say, okay, I only want to see, I don't know, from here to here, or I only want to see this part of the volume. That's the beauty of this tool. You can do different pulls and see what fits your TA better. But I just want to include everything, excuse me, every volume available since losing this this special area in the chart, so to speak. And it also gives me, of course, when did this start? The 19th. So I've got quite a few days of data. So it you can see that it's a relevant pull because I have more data. You can also use these on lower time frames, of course, but we kind of have an approximate value area high of this entire area, exactly lining up with this daily level. And we have our little 786 area. Okay, went a bit beyond it now, so that's not lining up so perfectly. But still, we got two reasons here to already imagine why we're getting a reaction of this level. So we have a value area high. Yeah, so the volume, we expect the transaction interest above this area to kind of fizzle out, which is what's kind of happening right now. It doesn't mean we can't go above it, of course. But it's an area where, you know, I'm going to take profits on my longs. We're beyond the POC, and look at this. We've got our value area low lining up with that other daily level. So you could say that this is the more actual, perhaps, range that we could work with. And yeah, of course, there can be deviations to the low side, to the upper side. But that's the way I would approach this area. Yeah, there can be a breakout, of course, and we can look at EXO in a second, and we can see how we've actually been climbing. Yeah, how this has, how this rise of almost 20% has been, or what was it, 25% even? Yeah, 30 now. Jesus, how this rise has been. Let's just look at it right now because it's kind of juicy. So here we have EXO. No surprise now that open interest is dropping back on resistance, of course. People taking profits. No surprise there. Oh, we haven't looked at the VWAP yet. We can do that too. So let's just turn off this for a second. And you can see that from the low on the 23rd of May, yeah, 31K, we've been working our way up and flipping every resistance. If this was the resistance at 35K, boom, flipped it to support. Went up to the next resistance, and bloop, flipped it to support again. And then we did dip back, and this is where it gets really interesting because this was the value area low. Let's see, today is Wednesday, so this was the value area low for Monday. So the previous, we like to look at the previous day value area, right? So this was the one for Monday. So we were reaching just the low of the local range, nothing so special. And yet the selling pressure got really, really intense, which is what we can see on the CVD line here. So we got bullish divergences already here. Yeah, if you compare this time frame or this point in time to this one here, yeah, 23rd to 24th, a lot of selling pressure, and yet the price is way, way higher. So that's showing us the limit by absorption going on as people are aggressively selling, convinced that we're going to go to, I don't know, 23K or whatever. The bigger hand or the bigger traders, whatever, entities, whatever you want to call it, the ones with the capital are absorbing all this selling, and up we go and up we go. And we've been basically squeezing shorts on the way up. Of course, we also liquidate over leveraged longs that try to jump in as usual. That's what happens every day, every hour, without exception. Just people using way too much leverage. And you can see right now that this last little push here with these green dots is also a nice short liquidation push. So a lot of shorts got taken out there. Yeah, I don't see it that well here, but whatever. So that's how we've been working our way up on bullish divergences. Every time we sell, look at this one, even more. Every time we sell, yeah, retrace back to here. It's not even a real big retracement or anything. And the selling gets really intense, and yet price does not go down. So once again, absorption, 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 all the way up. And the result of all this absorption is that when the selling gets tired, well, then all the shorts get punished. So we've been working our way up with bullish divergences and been going through every resistance slowly but surely. So that's one aspect you can take into account. Longs on that longer time frame increasing, open interest kind of increasing as well, not super duper maybe, a bit hesitant, but in total you could say that since the 23rd we have been increasing in open interest, shorts decreasing, so shorts getting in total kicked out of the market, longs in total taking control, and price going up. So it's a healthy uptrend so far, and that's the data we have right now. So let's go back to the chart. So just to give you an idea of how we've made our way up, and why all of these dips. Oh, this one actually might have even been almost a little CC one. Let's see. Oh yeah, look at that. So this one was actually a 618 retracement, very nice. And that got us on board. So massive bullish divergences on that dip as well. Yeah. So that's how we've been working our way up. Very, very, very nice to see. And that's the advantage of having Exo charts. That's the program. Oh, maybe I should have mentioned that this is a footprint software, which we use to determine, you can actually zoom in here, and this is just one of the easier templates, but you can actually see how much volume per hour is being transacted. You can use it, volume charts, delta charts, trend reversal charts, a whole bunch of options that you have here. You can see delta and cumulative volume delta as well. I mean, this is very, very nice information to have. And it gives you a great advantage compared to just having TradingView. I mean, here you can already get a very nice idea of which levels to pay attention to, but with ExoChart, you can really get those very nice entries and wait for volume confirmation instead of just jumping in like crazy. Like you can exactly at points like this, you can be like, okay, what's going on here? Are we just smashing through with even more longs opening? Then this resistance is not going to hold, and up we go. And of course, for now, we can just assume we are in the range and reaching the top of the range from a more macro perspective. And of course, if let me just do a little fixed ranged. Let's just pull it for the entire year, just for funsies. Let's see. So all of 2021, if we check out the volume profile, we have this massive POC here around the monthly level, around that weekly level. I mean, lots of resistance around here, was also a CC and whatever. So plenty, we know why that happened. And now we're kind of in a bit of a low volume area up here. Yeah, not quite yet, but this is kind of an empty volume area. If you look at the entire year, you've got more volume within the range that we were just in and where we were in January. And this is kind of an empty space where we just blasted through in February, blasted back down, didn't really spend much time in there. So one could assume that if we do manage to claim this daily resistance here properly, this top of the range resistance, that we might not find very much resistance again until we start finding some high volume nodes again, which would be the 45K area, which interestingly enough, surprise, surprise, is also this old weekly level that we were looking at as support while we were up here. So there you go. You've got your arguably your first interesting high volume node. I mean, compared to this one, it's very small, but still more than what we have around here as your next resistance. And you can see it's the bottom of this upper part area. So this is a very interesting kind of no man's land, perhaps, in a way that we can quickly just blast through if we do make it there and re-enter the other range, which would then give us the possibility of rotating once again. Of course, we know we have quite a few resistances to clear on the way, but just to gain acceptance into this upper range. So we don't have to necessarily expect all-time highs again. We can just say, okay, this impulsive move, which was pretty crazy already, the CC is at 49K, so we got to pay attention to that area. Also high volume node, so this is going to be resistance. This is going to be resistance. And you can even do a smaller fib pull and say, okay, we still have to get to the 43, 44K area. And that's what we say, just work it level by level. There's no need to get crazy and, oh yeah, we're reaching 40K, we're going for all-time highs. We got a lot of work to do. Take it easy, take it level by level. And even if we pull it from the all-time high, we still see that we got a lot of work to do if we were to get there. So now we've looked at the upper side. Let's just have a quick look at the bottom side. Yeah. Well, I mean, I think that 32K area that we looked at, that's really, really key. Because as you can see, the rest is not, there isn't that much tasty support. Even if you look on the weekly chart, you could say the next weekly level is at 19K. So that's kind of like the breakout point from the all-time highs. Yeah, and that's kind of crazy, but I suppose also possible. So let's just pull for fun. Well, I don't see it now. Let's just pull the fib from the Corona low to the all-time high. Well, as long as we're above 32K, we don't need to worry about that, do we? But it's a possibility, I suppose. Yeah. All right, let's look at some other stuff. Let's see what Ethereum's up to. Yeah, this has been really, really cool. I was looking at this, or we were looking at this weekly, for me, this monthly level for a long time because it was created on 2018 and had not been tapped until when did we get there? 12th of May. Yeah, so just now we finally reached that massive resistance. This is the Ethereum BTC pair, by the way. And the reason we always look at the BTC pairs first is to see if the asset in question, in this case Ethereum, is outperforming Bitcoin. Because if Ethereum is not stronger than Bitcoin, then I don't need Ethereum. Then I can just trade Bitcoin because it'll make me more money against the dollar than Ethereum. That's the quick explanation and the reason why you should always look at the Ethereum BTC pair, even if you're trading the ETH or Ethereum USD pair. So massive, massive resistance that we just tapped against. And it was also, look at that, surprise, surprise. If you pull a fib from here to the low, you got the 618. So there's no surprise there that we rejected. We had our very nice resistance area. So that's why it's a nice take profit area. Whether you at this point switch from Ethereum to BTC because you expect then BTC to be better or to hold value against the dollar better than Ethereum, or change to cash or whatever you want, it's a definite take profit level, at least in my mind. Looking at it from the other side, how awesome would it be if we could get a retracement to this monthly level, which lines up perfectly also with this CC channel. I mean, a monthly level that has played a role quite a few times. But yeah, we're kind of far away from that, but it's just something to keep in mind towards the lower side. More locally, we can already see, perhaps we have a weekly level forming here, would be interesting. But we can already see that we had this little retracement, which you could argue, if we take it from that impulse, CC 786 area, there you have it. But of course, we need to always check both sides, right? What is it looking at from the other side? Haha, what a surprise. So we are rejecting at the same time from the daily level on Bitcoin and from the CC on Ethereum. It's as if they were connected or something. Yeah. So for me, for Ethereum, I would be very interested, to be honest, on a high time frame for swing trades, I would be very interested in seeing a claim of this level for a possible, that's going to be another, this is against Bitcoin, so 40% against Bitcoin, against the dollar, it can be even crazier. Or a retracement to here, which would, probably everybody would be very bearish and, oh, we're going down. But it's very interesting support. So that's what I would be looking at on that. We can just have a quick look at the USD pair. Yeah, that was kind of crazy, huh? That's the monthly charts on the monthly levels up there. And this was the only weekly level we had as we were going up. And let me just turn this off for a second and show you what I mean. But I need to clean this one off. If we look at it on the daily chart, this is what Ethereum looked like. And I know a lot of people were like, oh my God, it's taking off. It's taking off. Let's just do a replay here. So let's look at Ethereum when it was like there, like this. Yeah, you remember this. From 2K all the way to 4K. But look at how unnatural this move was. Look at how steep it was and how very little support we built on the way up, right? So the only proper or the stronger, you could argue, level of support that we had was here, where we actually, you know, built the resistance, broke through it, back tested it as support, and off you go to the races. Yeah, once again, breaking a weekly level with a weekly candle close above it, back testing on the weekly. So very nice technical confirmation. And after that, nothing. So was it so crazy to think that perhaps we might get a retracement lower? And of course, this is with future price information. It's a bit cheating in this case. But if we then play it up, this is what happened next. Yeah, we had our massive drop, and it retraced to that weekly level of support once, touched it again, kind of wicked through it, and up again. So this has been holding us support and lining up with a 786. So there was a very dramatic drop, very scary, of course, because we dropped, what, 59%? Wow. But it has also provided us with the possibility of having a 55% bounce from that. So that's pretty crazy. Whether we go for all-time highs again or not, or we are changing into more bearish structure, that's another thing, another story to talk about. Of course, we will have this mini consolidation range will now become, used to be support, will now become resistance. So we will have to work through that as always. And that's a daily level to be tapped through as well. So if we get, let's say, up here on the USD pair, and it coincides with getting up here on the BTC pair, that means resistance on both pairs. Yeah. Well, you do whatever you want. I'm just saying it's resistance. Let's see what else we got. Usually I don't look at the alts, but I found Link to be quite crazy too. This is the clean Link chart with, what did we get up to 50 and went all the way to 70% drop. Jesus Christ. Crazy, man. Okay, so we got our massive drop. Surprise. Went up really, well, actually it didn't go up so as crazy as the others. That last push was kind of perhaps a little, let's just break it down a little bit. So this is the big monthly that turned out to be the ultimate resistance. And from that, we've also had an insane bounce. So that's always the question. I mean, do you really, 100%, do you really want to sell something that has dropped so hard? Or do you would rather wait for a bounce, a recovery bounce before you get out of it? This, of course, affects you more if you're leverage or not. If you use leverage, you're going to be in pain much more quicker, or you can even get liquidated. If you're just sitting in spot, you can, of course, tolerate a lot more pain and be patient. But overall, we can see that on a big time frame pull, we did bounce off very technically. And with our speed fan, we did go below the 7.5 a little bit, but now we're working our way back up towards or above the 618 actually. Quite nice. Did I have anything on the BTC pair that's interesting? So on the BTC pair, it doesn't look as crazy. We were not. So the BTC pair, I think I did this on the weekly. Let me just zoom it in for a second. We're nowhere near all-time highs, and we did have then this massive retracement again, but to an old monthly level of support, 786 area, so all very technical. And this has a little bit more resistance to work through. Yeah, so Link against BTC still has to get through the 618 again and the weekly, and after that, it's the resistance, of course, becomes less and less. Yeah, just check if there's a monthly level up here, and that's it. So you've got your all the way up there. There's your monthly level. And on weekly levels, you've got a new one up here. So we can actually move this one to the fresh one now. And that's going to be your next resistance. Yeah. But amazing bounces. Very dramatic drop, very dramatic bounces. Great opportunities to be had. So let's have a look at SPX as well. I like to look not only at crypto, but also at what stock market is doing, what gold is doing, what the dollar is doing. I think it's a nice context to keep in mind, even if you're trading crypto, because if you have the stock market having an intense retracement like this here, then Bitcoin is going to have trouble staying strong. It doesn't have to drop. I mean, every asset does, on its own. But yeah, it's hard to imagine that Bitcoin can do well if the stock market is retracing very hard. Usually it's the other way around. The correlation has been strong in the past. It can stop anytime, and they go completely different ways. So that's nothing you should really completely base trades off of, but it's something to add to your list of confluence or to a list of ideas of whether something makes sense or not, or a trade setting makes sense or not. So yeah, we had our drop on Bitcoin, and look at that, we also had a nice retracement on SPX, so, and another one. And now we're up against resistance once again, just pulling a fixed range from this lower weekly support to now. We're above the POC, we're near the value area high, we're at 786, so this is a resistance area for SPX. We have that last weekly level as the last stand, so to speak, for the bears, if you want to call it that. And then we're off to new all-time highs and off to the races. So this could be very interesting, because if we manage to work our way back up here and go crazy again, like it has been since let's just have a look at the, oops, sorry about that. Let me just delete that. Since it has been this crazy drop here. What a recovery. Corona drop and just 45-degree angle pretty much. So the stock market's super, super strong and showing, of course, there's always retracements. Excuse me. But still very, very strong. But locally, so to speak, at resistance now, just like Bitcoin is at resistance right now. And we'll just see what happens. We'll take it from there. So this is something you can pay attention to if this goes nuts to the upside. Right now, New York is closed. London is open, but New York is closed. So when New York opens later on in about 6 hours, I think it is. Yeah, in 6 hours. Then we'll have more data. We'll actually see what the market does. If this were to retrace down towards lower levels, which would not be so crazy. I mean, you can just, let's turn this all off and just pull a fib from here to here. And you can see that, this would be okay to retrace to, even though it looks very dramatic. But it's a very big pullback. So that's going to definitely affect, I think, other assets. And gold, yes. So this is the gold chart on the monthly chart. So you see we had our old all-time highs, September 11, then spend pretty much a decade almost to get, almost 10 years to get back up here, to actually bust or make new all-time highs. And then we had a very, very sweet retracement to a yearly level. So for these assets, it does make sense to look at yearly levels. Yeah, there you go. Massive, massive yearly level. There was one down here too. And this one was very, very cool because it lined up perfectly with this fib pool from this low to the all-time high. And you see that this CC lined up perfectly with the yearly level. And look at what a bounce that has given us. Look at an insane bounce this has given us. So all these tools that you use for crypto, you can use on gold, you can use on stocks, you can use for everything. And that's the beauty of technical analysis. You can separate yourself from the news, from the stories, from the FUD, and from the this and that, and my mom said, and Twitter said. You can just focus on this. And of course, always keep in mind, someone with enough capital can always move the market one way or the other, or an entity or whatever. So for gold, it would actually probably take more than a central bank to do something like that. But still, there's always a big fish. And they could just, smash through levels like this. That's always a possibility. That's why you use risk management, stop losses, blah, blah, blah. And just don't go crazy. But look at that. It gave us two perfect opportunities to enter at this very, very nice confluence level. So that's always a nice example that I like to show. Now we are approaching monthly resistance by the looks of it. Where's this monthly level from? It's from here. So it's a fresh one, and we are now fighting above it even. So very, very strong for gold. Not bad at all. What do we have here on the other side as resistance? Okay, so we still have a bit of room to run in that sense. Yeah, and this is the 4 chart view that I also like to look at. So we got our SPX, we got our Bitcoin, we got our dollar, retracing, and gold up. So let's just say the family would be these 3 guys, all happy, all going up, and the dollar retracing. Nice. Context fits, it's good. So if the dollar starts pumping like crazy, this retraces and gold retraces as well, it's going to be difficult for Bitcoin. Usually. That's how it's been. So that's pretty much what I wanted to cover. We did some stocks, we covered Bitcoin, we covered Ethereum link, and we're up to 40 minutes. So I think that's enough. Enough talking for now. Let's see what you guys are up to. Let's just have one more look at EXO just to see if anything has changed so far. So yeah, holding up against resistance, huh? Interesting. I'd be a bit careful with shorting this. So let's see what you guys are up to. So we're probably gonna have a lot more people than usual. I don't know if I'll be able to cover all the questions. So Wolfgang D, what's the name of the footprint software that you're using? It is called ExoCharts. Yeah, I think I showed it to you before. So it's this one here. It's called ExoCharts. So exocharts.com, like exocharts.com. And it's software like this for the stock market costs maybe like 1,500 a month, and I think EXO is like 30 or something. So for the information that you're getting, it's kind of insane how cheap it is. From Malaysia, good afternoon, Professor. Good afternoon. Oh, I think some people thought it was Daniel because I'm using the public stream. Yeah, it's not Daniel, it's Victor. I'm one of the coaches here at Chart Champions. I don't know if I said that at the beginning. So yeah. Hello, yellow fever. I don't have yellow fever. I'm fine. I'm okay. We see money. Gold Victor. You guys are funny. Ned Flanders. Except Ned Flanders doesn't know how to trade. So. Holy cow, something. Okay, so morning. We made me a millionaire. Boat trap, maybe. No, only members. Yeah, usually these streams are for members only. So these are the streams I do on Friday morning. Usually only for the members. Yeah, but today we're having a public day, just so that. Smash the likes. Oh yeah, you can actually smash the likes. Now it makes a difference. Like on the member streams, it doesn't matter at all. But now it helps if you smash the like button. So yeah, if you like the stream, then please smash the like button. Mellow yellow. You guys crack me up. So great TA, head and shoulders pattern. Not really looking at stuff like that. CME gaps fills around 49K. Okay, the CME gaps is something that you can add to your list of things that you're looking at as confluence, but it's not something that I would exclusively trade off of and be like, oh, I have to fill that gap. If it happens to line up with other stuff, like we showed before that it does, nice. But otherwise, I don't care that much about them. You know? Green dot. No, green dot means shorts getting liquidated. If you mean this here, if I turn on the rect settings, those are the liquidations, then the software starts lagging a bit because it's so this green dot up here means a big short got liquidated. So an over leveraged short, as price moved up, was forced out of his position, or in this case, liquidated. So completely destroyed, which is something you should definitely avoid. Please don't over leverage. There's no need to. Please, fingers off the leverage until you know what you're doing at least. How do you feel managing right now? I hope people so much. Well, you can watch whatever you want. I'm just trying to offer you an overview of the tools that you can use to make your own decisions. Yeah. So basically, the whole thing we're trying to teach here is for you to not depend on anyone, to not depend on anyone on YouTube, to not depend on us at some point, to just be your own trader. Find your own setups, do your TA, and be happy with that, and take your trades and become a consistent, profitable trader over time. That's what we're about. Well, we're not after quick, get rich quick schemes or anything like that. It's going to take time. It's going to take effort, years, arguably, just like any other skill you have in life. But it can last you for a lifetime and change your life, of course. So I'm happy that you guys liked it. 40K, 3K resistance. Yeah, we've already looked at that. Appreciate the update. You guys are very welcome. So I think I'm gonna wrap it up. Link is blasting off. Yeah, we already looked at link as well. Jaja, me encantas. So seriously, the best that they were from the launch again. Well, very nice to hear. Very nice to hear. I hope the update makes sense for you guys. If you wanna, yeah, I'm just gonna wrap it up and say I'll see you guys on Discord. And if you have any questions for the members, of course, we as usual we can talk on Discord. You can ask us there. And just, you know, I wish you a very nice trading day. Take it easy. There's no need to rush into anything. You always have plenty of time. And if you're unsure, if your TA doesn't really fit and you're like, oh, I mean, I'm seeing we're at resistance. Oh, but someone, you know, that's kind of what it was on Monday. Yeah, Monday was like, wait, I need to zoom it back a bit. Monday was, what are we, 26th, 24th. Yeah. So all of this, we were just going against the resistances, but on the back of these bullish divergences and just kept, you know, anybody that tried to short on Monday, stopped out. So it was one of those days where obviously the selling was not in control. Yeah. And this is something that you need to keep in mind. Yes, we are at the top of the range. So you would rather look for a short in theory. But you have to keep in mind that the selling all the way up here has been very intense and has failed miserably. That's what you need to keep in mind. Is all this selling effort doing a good job of bringing the price down? And the answer is no. So far, no. Yeah, every time we've had retracements with a lot of selling power that we can see here on EXO, or at least intensive, aggressive selling, the limit buys have absorbed all of it. And here we are once again against resistance. Yeah, we've left yesterday's value area range, so we are not accepting yesterday's range anymore, and we're trying to gain acceptance into a new range. So these are the places where you might have to be a bit more careful. I would definitely not long here because we are at resistance. I would wait for a retracement, like at least something like this. Yeah, just give me a nice lower price where people get very aggressive on the selling again, and then I'll have my entry. Some sort of a backtest. Oh, we didn't even look at the VWAP locally. Yeah. Oh, so VWAP's following quite nicely. Yeah. So we are on the back of bullish divergences. Volume is following up. And yes, we did have a bit of a reaction, but it's not really even properly retracing much. So you can envision probably that this might crack as well. Once again, London is open now. This is kind of just standing still. What's the UK doing? What's the FTSE doing? This is kind of also not doing anything. So it's just like, okay, are we about to go pop or not? So yeah, I'll definitely keep a close eye on that. You need to be, well, if you're treating this like a range and you want to short this, then your invalidation should be clear. Maybe not right here, but I mean, if we start taking this 42K area, I'll be very careful because then we are starting to approach the upper range. And you know, this is kind of a void in volume like we looked at before. So this can go pretty quick. That's all I'm saying. It doesn't have to, but it can. Yeah, I know there's resistance in between. I know. But yeah, just don't hold on to your trades forever. Don't marry them. You can give it a try if you want. But if you're not feeling comfortable, just drop it. Yeah, you can scalp short it. Exactly. That was my point. If you want to scalp short it, that's fine. It's a quick in, quick take profits. I mean, if you're scalping short, then at the latest, at the VWAP, you already have to be taking profit, if not much earlier, because let's just keep in mind that this was already a very juicy move. 3% for a scalp. Ugh! I mean, wow, that's insane. So if you get any type of even a 1% pullback, which sort of, I mean, take profit whenever you want, but still, these are these look like small moves, but the percentage is crazy. It's very, very crazy. And you know what? Just like with Ethereum, think back about the Ethereum USD chart. If something is taking off like crazy, it might be difficult to get into once it's already taken off. But then you have to say to yourself, okay, I missed the trade. You had a fantastic long at 31K. that's just the way it is. It was fantastic. You could argue you had maybe a good long here. You had a good long here on the bullish divergences, resistance, support, flip. Maybe even this one on a very local time frame. So you've got opportunities to get in, but I'm not gonna long the end of a big fat green candle. I want a retracement. Yeah. So always keep in mind, guys, market structure is king. If you want to go long, you want to buy these dips. All right. And the other way around, if you want to go short, then you're looking for the rallies. You're looking to short the rallies. You don't want to short the lows. That's crazy. Okay. Hope that makes sense. Okay, I need to stop talking now. This is going on for too long. So thank you very much, everyone, for tuning in. And yeah, a lot of people awake. I hope you have a nice day. Have a good a trading day, a good trading week, and relax and take it easy. If you miss a trade, no biggie. There will always be a better one around the corner. Your biggest trade and best trade is ahead of you. And maybe a little psychological help on top of that. If you have taken a lot of losses in this drop that happened, then step back from the markets, don't trade, just reanalyze your system, see where you made the mistakes, and just start small again and build your way back up. You need to build your confidence back up and your capital. Okay? All right, guys. I'll catch you on the next update. Have a great day. Adios. Schönen Tag noch. Hasta la próxima. Y ans veurem.